From sports to current events to the culture, we talk, agree, disagree, and agree again. Maybe. Confused? Find your outlet, the podcast.
Once again, it's all good, people. Another episode of the ATL Outlet. Little ATL therapy for your soul. Got the fellas back in the building. C, PB on a virtual tip. Shout out to all the listeners. Shout out to everybody who's following the IG. Plugusin.org on the website. As always, we start with what's good. PB, what's good?
Man, what's good this week is still getting out a little bit more, man. You know what I'm saying? Playing a lot of golf with my man AT and C. We got out on that golf course up at Stone Mountain. Good fellowship, though, man. At the end of the day, that's what it was all about. So that's what's good. You know, that's the summer weather really kicking in. The pool's open back up, so that's good. You know, working with the new microphone, about to test this thing out. You know, audience, let me know if you can hear me a little bit better. Plug us in. You know what I mean? You know, and just trying to keep a positive attitude, man. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much negativity going on right now. So many ways to pull us down, so many ways to let your mind go into a bad place. You know what I mean? And I'm doing everything I can to try my best to keep a healthy mental state, bro. You know, and knowing that I'm making that conscious effort, you know, a conscious effort to do that. That's what's good, man. You know, been supporting some Black-owned businesses a little bit more lately. So that's what's good. Shout out to Two Commas and that boy, that DJ. You know who he is. Zaywan, you know what I'm saying? Zay Weezy, shout out to him. Music is my therapy. So, you know, just doing a little bit more of that, man. And like I said, trying to keep a good, healthy mind state and some good behavioral health, if you will. So that's what's good with me. See,
man, I kind of piggyback on that a little bit, man. You know, just thinking about what's good. You know, I get out every morning, probably about 7:15, 7:30, and I walk my community. And what I find now is that that's helping me. I know for me, I got to get my endorphins to kick for me to kind of de-stress, declutter. You know, you lay around and you think about all the stuff you got to do. And sometimes you get a little anxious. So I kind of look forward to that time. Me and the wife, we tried to get out, but this morning she had to run a little errands. So I still did it, put on a little music, man. It was really, really good. And then, you know, I try to hit high intensity training workout at 12 noon for about 45 minutes. So that's always good. Kind of look forward to that. I feel my recovery time coming back down. Y'all, as from athletes, we know what that feels like when you be like, oh, I ain't as tired as I was. You get tired, which I'm ready to go again. So that actually helps too mentally. And just, you know, been outside, you know, you said it, PB, summer weather is phenomenal here in Georgia. So, you know, being able to be outside with my daughters and watching them get it in and work a little bit on a little cheerleading and flipping and all that good stuff. So it was good. Shout out to Sweet Lee. She came through and had a little virtual cheerleading camp at the crib today, you know. Got her nieces in check, you know what I'm saying? They'll get scholarship somewhere. We'll go cheerleader too. So, you know, just good, you know, being outside. I realize that I am an outdoor person. I got to smell the grass. You understand this one, PB. You know, sometimes it started tricking me, feel like fall out here. I be smelling that grass cut on Friday night football, you know. I be like, whoa, hold on, you know. But yeah, just, you know, trying to be a little bit more kinesthetic in my day than sitting in front of the computer all day long. But, so yeah, that's what's good going on with me. AT, what you got?
I'm gonna let y'all have that grass, man. My allergies, man. I can't do that. Yeah, man. A lot of things good with me. First and foremost, man, I just had an absolute fire rotisserie chicken sandwich. That was awesome. All vinegar chips. It was banging.
Shout out rotisserie chicken.
Shout out. That thing, it came from Kroger too. It was pretty good. But you know, we've been dealing with a lot of situations as far as COVID-19 and having our free time restricted. So, you know, just an opportunity to just get out and just do things. I look forward to obviously what we do with the podcast, but getting out and being able to run, enjoy, play golf, whatever the case may be. I'm just valuing more time with people. So that's definitely good. I'm excited about, unfortunately it comes about because of unfortunate circumstances, but I'm excited about the interest that people are having now in social issues and things that are going on in the news. I'm glad people are now expressing their opinions. People are protesting. There's healthy banter going back and forth, and I'm all for it, man. So that's what's good. And as always, it's good to be 6 feet above rather than 6 feet below. So I'm very appreciative of that.
Yes, sir.
Good that we can get the outlet started. So we're going to jump right into the gumbo. You know how we do it. Throw a little bit of everything into the pot, stir it up, see how it tastes. And we jump right into what's been a topic for the last 3 months, which is COVID-19. And as we know, cities, states have been opening up over the last month and a half. There's been a lot of discussion about the fact that some of the numbers are beginning to trend back in the, I guess, negative, upward, positive. I sound like President Trump.
It's just bad.
The numbers are getting worse now in some areas. And there's a threat of a second wave of COVID-19, or the fact that we may have to shut down cities once again. So get your thoughts on COVID-19 and where we are at this point, fellas.
I always think about PB. What'd you say? We're going to slow roll this thing, fellas.
Let that thing breathe a little bit, man.
AT the one with that. Let that thing breathe a little bit.
Let it breathe.
Let that thing breathe a little bit.
We ain't going to get inappropriate on this thing, but, man, last week, this is Atlanta. And that flame opened back up, man. The rush, volleys, and folks talking about some, you gonna fall through? Nah, I'm straight on that, bro. hey, AT, I'm gonna let that breathe for a minute.
Let that breathe a little bit, brother.
Look, I don't trust COVID, bro. I'm sorry, man. And look, I recognize the science behind it. Again, with my sister and other friends that are physicians, they like, look, of course the numbers of cases are going to go up. Like, people are going to continue to get it. There's more testing that's happening right now. They said, but the concern would be if the death rate starts to go up. That's when you need to start being really concerned. But of course, if you've got more testing, right, you're likely going to see more cases. My other concern, though, is as more cases do go up, I think it was Arizona that said that their ICUs were quickly approaching capacity. So it's, if you get it, will there be enough support there to help you get through it? So, look, man, I just, do I absolutely miss being out? There's opportunities now, folks having, little get-togethers outside or parties in the driveway, you know what I'm saying? So you can social distance or whatnot. Trying to pick and choose my points to do that. But as far as trying to go to the flame or trying to go into a bar or a club or a place with a lot of people, nah, I'm going to hold off on that a little bit longer, man. What about you, C?
Man, I'll be honest with you. I'm torn a little bit, man. I do rest in the camp of, I'm going to let that ride. But I do miss the gatherings. I haven't necessarily gone back in full bore. I will tell you, the family and I, we went to one of our favorite Mexican restaurants that had outdoor seating probably about 2 weeks ago, and it was good just kind of be back, do that. But we haven't made it a regular deal. Much like you, PB, man, the numbers are going up, and more cases are being identified. But I tell you, I just keep hearing what you said. I'm gonna slow roll that thing, Doc. I'm gonna have to I don't flip to the. I don't flip though. I gotta let it breathe. I don't flip to the other side, man. I am enjoying my backyard. PB, you said the pool open up. I am a little jealous. Our pool ain't open up because the county ain't open to come do the inspection. I know you ain't gotta have that, but we trying to do the right thing. So. But I'm sitting over. I got 3 girls. They look out the door and see the pool. They mad. I got a homeboy. He done made a pool out of some pallets and some pool line in his house. I need him to come over here and do that over here. But just I do get torn, but I do err on the side of caution. I'm not fully ready to just role. I do like the fact that people are trying to gather social distance. We
Let me
went up
just
to
add,
chat.
brother. There's also folks don't be respecting that mask game. Like, look, man, if I'm gonna do it, like respect the mask game, man. Like, come
Yeah, I
on.
would tell you that mask game. There's a sociology behind that, man. If folk be wearing masks, they be like, you could tell where a person is if they wear a mask or not. I mean, it's just, you walk in the grocery stores and 90% of the people got on masks, but then 10% just walking around like, man, whatever.
Right.
It's
Like,
crazy.
respect the mask game.
It was crazy is I was in a store the other day, and the guy had on a mask that only covered his nose. It's so funny, like watching people's mannerisms as far as it comes to the mask. Like most people got the under the chin look where they just hold the mask just under the chin. It's never over their face. I'm like, why even have it on?
Right.
Then you have the people who have the masks that are just so big that it's like it's engulfing their entire face.
Right. Look, they need to go deep sea diving. That's what I call it. They need to go down and get.
And then there was one man I saw who had it only covering his nose. Then there was this other lady. We were in the drive-thru. She was coming across to go into the restaurant, and it was literally from her chin to her eyebrow, like she couldn't see, and was pushing her glasses up. And I was like, "Well, she got rolling the eye, like." Right. I'm not making light. I am making light, but I'm not making light of the disease. But this mask game is hilarious to me, man.
It is.
It's hilarious.
What about that mask when they had the big things that come way out here? And you be like, man, how do you breathe? They're like, it's like,
oh yeah, like
you be like, what are you doing?
It's just funny, man. It's funny. That mask game is crazy, but I'm still letting it breathe for the most part. We're gonna make that a new segment. I got an idea of that, but I'm letting it breathe for the most part. As PB said, I'm picking and choosing as far as outings or things that we do around other people. I'm starting to work more around people, so very mindful of my mask, making sure that we are washing hands, hand sanitizer, all that good stuff. You just do the best you can do, man. I mean, at this point, you don't want to let anything completely shut your life down, if you can help it. But you want to operate the right way and hope that everybody else does the same. So it is what it is, man. We're here, and we'll see what happens. On piggybacking on that, we got a lot of sports leagues that are trying to decide on logistics for starting. All three of the major sports, football, baseball, and basketball here in the U.S. are at a crossroads when you talk about baseball and basketball, as far as whether basketball is going to finish, whether baseball is going to even start. Football seems to be moving as if they're going to start as normal, but we got a lot of things going in athletics. So let's start with basketball. What are your thoughts about possibility of the shortened season playoff all in Orlando? Players are thinking about maybe not playing. You have the whole Black Lives Matter and social justice piece to it. What are your thoughts on that?
I'll go first on this one. I think that this whole bubble notion is interesting to me. If you haven't heard, they're proposing to go to Orlando and have 22 teams in that city, and that's where all of the games will be played. All the teams will be quarantined. Your microphone working, man. You just wanted to say
it. It stopped. I had been saying stuff, and y'all just kept talking. I was just like, hold on, man. My mic ain't working no more.
My mic sound nice. Check one.
I'm back, though, baby. Let's go. Keep it going.
So, that whole quarantine, the whole bubble city idea is interesting to me because I'm as much as you tell a person, I keep going back to this, the psychology of an individual says, oh, you telling me I can't go nowhere? Watch. I just don't believe that Dwight Howard, I love you, D. White, you from the A, right? But I just don't believe that you're going to go where you're supposed to, and I'm just using him as an example. If they tell you don't go out that hotel after 9 p.m. and you used to going wherever you want to go when you want to go, you're going to go. I mean, you might want a Snicker bar at 11 o'clock.
Hey, see, you know what that Friday night is in the hotel before the game on Saturday?
Right,
What?
right, 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 right. Like, but I am grateful that the NBA is trying, right? I am just wondering, just because of the human nature of an individual, right? What they gonna do? How you gonna keep them from not doing that, right? So, okay, if the three of us on the squad, and let's say I get it, and now I come in your room, you don't know I got it. I don't know I got it. Now AT got it. Now we go get tested, and let's say, we already ain't playing with so and so and so and so. Now the two of us down. Now everybody else start. Now you got a whole team that could potentially, and I know, so again, I am grateful that they're trying. I really am. I just think that the bubble thing, and I know they got protocols. What is 100-page? I'm getting my sports. But which one had the 100-page document? Was that NFL or basketball?
It was the NBA.
It was NBA. Yeah, like they got a 100-page COVID protocol thing they got to follow, and I'm thinking.
Did y'all see? They said that Lakers and the Clippers are staying in hotel rooms that are the rates $243 a night.
No, I ain't see that.
Hey, these cats, man, about that elite status, they not used to staying in those $243 a night rooms, dog.
Right, like my deal, then you get to the games, and are the top tier players gonna play or not? If you number 7 on the team, what your playing time gonna be like, depending on if Kyrie show up or not. What if he call in the day before the game? Man, I ain't doing it today. It's just a lot. There are still a lot of question marks. And I keep saying this. I am grateful that they're trying. Lord knows I'm grateful that they're trying. But I just think there are a lot of question marks and uncertainties with the basketball.
Yeah. AT, what you think? You go first.
I just think it's a delicate balance. I mean, you're dealing with health and safety, and nobody wants to be the league that they look at and say, "Oh, they completely blew that." You know what I mean? Right. And so, you're trying to. We all know that money runs the show, so you're trying to find a way to keep the money flowing, keep players paid, keep owners paid, get the fans happy, and give them some kind of product on the floor. But at the same time, you're balancing the interest of health, safety, and I don't know how to describe it other than, allowing players to have normal lives. I mean, you taking these players in a bubble, like they're away from their families for 2 months, 3 months, or whatever the case may be. And that's tough for many of them. So I think that, to C's point, I applaud the effort. Logistically, it's got to be a nightmare, though. I mean, yeah, you're bubbled, but that chain of command it can't be solid enough for you not to be able to get it on the floor. So I got to be quarantined in my room, but I can go out and post up and bang and push and foul, and there's no possibility of me catching coronavirus. I just don't know. I think that, my personal opinion, though, I think that they are aware that somebody's may be infected, and they just have to work on a protocol to make sure they contain that. I just think it's impossible to keep everybody from having it.
Y'all saw that boy Zeke caught it.
Yeah, Zeke Elliott.
Zeke Elliott.
Yeah, Zeke. Yeah. I saw that, man.
I don't really have much to add other than I think y'all right. And I mean, all the points that you made. And it's almost like, also, what are you going to get out of it, right? So what, you picking up the season as it was? I forget how many games they're going to play in the regular season and all that. And it's just like, I mean, it's almost that season is over, right? That's kind of how it feels. And now it's just going to be this, like, I don't know how to describe it, man. I don't even know how it's going to feel. So when the playoffs start, like, is it really going to feel like the playoffs or no?
But
so
I think it's something to be said to finish it, though. I mean, right. if you're in the mix, I think you want to finish. I think we had this conversation before. It's like, I don't care if we're playing pickup and we going to 7 and, I'm up, you up 6-5 or whatever the case may be, and the lights go out in the gym and they don't come back on, 30, 40 minutes later. Like, we might go home, but when we get back, it's 6-5, check ball, bro. We're going to finish this game. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you. I think what's more interesting for me, though, is this, Kyrie situation and some of the players wanting to use it as a way to boycott, right, given everything that's going on. What are y'all thoughts on that piece? Like, so now that the NBA is faced with not only safety, health concerns, the bubble, all of that, but now you got this social aspect to it to say, do we even do it? Are players going to play? Are some going to boycott? Then if they are going to boycott, then now you got some major players that may not play. And then how does that impact, that 6-5, let's play, but now you got other people on the court. Or
well,
maybe
that's a real life challenge. And we talked about that with the whole Donald Sterling situation. We're at a moment in time now where, you have a league that is dominated. The majority of the principal players in the league are black, and they are thinking about coming together to take a stand. And that'll be powerful, because it will come at the cost of a lot of money. But if they're willing to put that aside for the cause, that will carry a lot of weight toward, this whole idea of social injustice and improving on social injustice. So if they decide to do that, I applaud it, because that means they're standing for something. Historically, that hasn't really been done much, especially when money gets involved and as much money as we're talking about. But it's something that I had challenged them to do if they were serious in the Donald Sterling situation. That is quite possible here. So
would you, if all of them would get behind it, would you be more for them doing it, or still would you think it'd be more appropriate for them to continue to play? And because, I think, at least from what I've read, LeBron said, look, we can do both, right? We can play and we can continue to make impact on the social dynamics in this country. Would you agree more on or lean towards more on the LeBron side where you can do both, or on the Kyrie side that say, and the Dwight Howard side that say, look, this is a distraction from what's going on in this country. Let's stay focused. Or you go and look at someone like, what's the dude that played for the Lakers? I'm blanking his name, but he was just like, man, Kyrie missing the whole point. Like, nah, that ain't the way to go about it. We need to go and play. What say you?
So my thoughts on the first question around the whole social justice.
Anthony Barnes. That's
Matt Barnes.
Matt Barnes.
I think that, if they're gonna do it all, right? You can play and still make a difference, but you make a bigger difference when you don't play, because you're affecting the pockets. It's called economics, right? And so my whole thought on it is that I'm telling you that I'm in Kyrie and
Dwight,
ATL's finest.
Yeah, Dwight.
They're white. I'm in that camp. But my whole thoughts on it are, and I think it's the same thing, I'm probably repeating myself. If they're gonna do it, right? I mean, you're gonna make a stand, you're gonna make a stand. You can't make half of a stand. I mean, that's what they've been doing before. Going back to the Donald Sterling situation, they came out with the shirts, but they were playing. So Donald Sterling was like, okay, bet, but I'm still writing you a check. You know what I'm saying? So, it's tough because, the top tier players, they can get away with it. They ain't hurting for financial means, but then you get those guys on the bottom that are living paycheck to paycheck. What they gonna look like? Are you gonna create this?
Back in the day, that's when somebody step up and say, "Man, okay, this is how we gonna take care of them cats." You know what I'm saying? Like, come eat off my table for a while, and we'll be straight. Because that's more important, right? But the question is,
that's solidarity.
Exactly.
That's solidarity when you do that right there. I got you.
Right. So AT, what side? Where you leaning at?
So, that's a great question. This is really in line with the conversation we had about how people are protesting, right? And how everybody has their own lane. So for me personally, I think there is value in playing and protesting. So I probably would lean that way. If they decided to completely protest and not play, I would not have a problem with it. But if I had to pick one side or the other, I would lean toward playing and protesting, specifically for those players who aren't on the upper echelon as far as pay is concerned, because I do want to have job security. And I know that may not be as big of an issue now, but that directly affects families. And there are a lot of people that are relying on them to provide them.
Even if there was solidarity to that point, I mean, so is your only point is because those people that are, at the end of the bench need the financial means. So if financial means were off the table, let's say that, right? So
financial means off the table, then let's take the product off the floor until things change, because that's what a leverage is. Gotcha. That's what a leverage in the movement is. Gotcha. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So,
PB, what you think? You asked the question. What you think?
I want to lean toward. I mean, honestly, I'm in the middle, right? Because I feel like I don't know enough, right? Where I think there's opportunity. I want to lean towards let's get through some solidarity and make something really happen. AT noticed, because it was really my big point around that Donald Sterling thing. To your point earlier, see, it was like, oh, so you're gonna put on black T-shirts pregame to make a statement. Then as soon as that horn go off, you don't take it off and it's time to play.
Yeah.
So what message do you really send with that? You know what I'm saying? So I struggle with that. Now, what I've learned throughout all of this recently, and look, we all can grow, but that awareness does matter, right? Awareness does matter. And I don't think in the past, right, growth for me, I don't think I gave awareness enough support, if you will, right? But I've got a new appreciation for awareness. But I think awareness still only goes so far, right? There has to be action. There has to be concrete ask, right, that are going to lead to some type of change, and not only immediate, short-term change, but long-term change as well. And so I would want to know more about what Kyrie and them are thinking to say, okay, well, we're going to boycott until what happens, right? Until what's the end game, right? And then, will the means justify, or will the end justify the means, right? So if it's, look, we just going to boycott because we want to put our fists in the air, but we don't really have a game plan around it, you know what I mean? We just feel like it is just awareness. Then I think you can do the awareness and play, right? If it's just about awareness, I think you play as well. If it's more than just awareness and you got a game plan to say, yo, we ain't going to play until, this policy gets passed, then I would lean toward that.
Well, it's awareness. Speaking of awareness, it's time to take a break. It's the outlet.
From sports to current events to the culture, we talk, agree, disagree, and agree again. Maybe. Confused? Find your outlet, the podcast.
And we're back. ATL Outlet, a little ATL therapy for your soul. Good show up to this point. Jumping on several topics, COVID-19. Just had a good conversation about the NBA and his goal to finish out the rest of the season as a result of the coronavirus. We're just moving sports now, changing sports, moving on to the NFL. While the NBA is trying to wrap up, the NFL is trying to start up. So camps are opening up. They're moving from a virtual camp to, at some point, the next couple of months, actually having people in the facilities as they prepare for the 2020 season.
Some facilities are already open, right?
Yeah, but they're only open for certain personnel.
I got you.
They're still having a lot of virtual meetings with players. So a lot of things going on in the NFL, one of which was a very surprising statement from NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell in response to a video that was put out by several NFL players in support of the Black Lives Matter movement and argument against racial injustice or intolerance or whatever the case may be. But it was powerful. And so we want to get your thoughts on the video and Goodell's statement and where you see the NFL going now.
Yeah, man, I'll jump in on this one. I thought what was interesting was what prompted it, right? So as I understand it, it actually started with some lower level employees, meaning not executives, within the NFL organization. And they have been struggling with the fact that Roger Goodell and just that environment within the corporate office, had the position that they did in relation to Colin Kaepernick, just that they hadn't made any really bold statements, and that they were struggling with the internal culture of the NFL organization. And supposedly there was a rogue employee that was like, man, I'm about to put my job on the line, and supposedly hit up Hopkins and was like, look, man, we tired of this basically. And, instead of it coming from us internally, it needs to come from the players. You guys are the NFL. And if it comes from you, then, they can't look the other way. And so supposedly he hit up Hopkins and was like, I got this idea. And Hopkins was like, I'm down, bet. Let me make a couple of texts to a couple other players, see if they down. And then you go run it back up to a couple of people internally and see how we can pull this together. And literally within, I think it was like 24, 48 hours, they had all the people that they wanted. And then supposedly a few others whose videos just didn't make it the cut in time. And so long story short, it was just interesting to hear how it really wasn't precipitated by the actual players. It was really prompted by the internal staff within the NFL organization. But look, the short of it for me is going to be this. The fact that they got Roger Goodell to get on camera and say exactly what they said that they wanted him to say, I thought was huge. I thought it was huge. And some people might argue, oh, Roger didn't mean it. And did you see him, the way he looked? And, it's just, the fact that he did it, to me says a lot. You know what I mean? Now they've got a way, even more of a way to hold him accountable to things.
Well, I also think that, that's a combination of them making the video and the movement that was going on, surrounding football, so, it's at a point now where, you have to make those that are in opposition uncomfortable with being in opposition. Mm-hmm. And you see most CEOs or celebrities or anything of that nature, they're making statements now because there's really pressure for them to make statements, or they will be considered, against or outside of what's now the new normal. And that's okay. I mean, we have to grow in that, in that stage of being uncomfortable.
Just like head coach Mike Gundy for Oklahoma State, right? The running back said, man, I'm not going to show up. Next thing you know, in a video.
Right. And they dapping each other up, right?
Right. I mean, at this point in time, for you to, if you are not at least acknowledging and listening to what's going on, for lack of a better phrase, man, your job could be at stake. Right. And so we're really going to find out some true colors because, at this point, if you have a responsibility over a group of people, and you bring up you bring up statements or actions that are racist or prejudiced or biased in nature, then you're not very smart, because the way this world is going, like, you're gonna lose your job, you're gonna lose several opportunities. So I think it's a good thing that Roger Goodell said that, and now, but to your point, actions speak louder than words. Now what? And I don't think, and I'm gonna go out on the record right now, having Colin Kaepernick sign with a team is not the end all be all. If it happens, congratulations, move forward, but it shouldn't stop there, right?
250 million over 10 years ain't a bad way to start. I'll say that much too.
Right. And that's the thing too for me. So, my take is I'm glad that our white CEOs, our white power brokers, they're having to, you said it, become more aware of what they're saying and how they are interacting across the board. And Roger Goodell coming out saying what he said spoke volumes to me, but when he put that $250 million behind it, that spoke a whole bunch of 250 million other ways that he said something real too, right? Because for me, I'm at the action point at this point. And I'll even go on and say that I would rather him say, Colin, they don't have to, nobody got, you come here and work with us. You have a job at the NFL corporate office right now. And I'd say something crazy like, your job will be, you will be our chief diversity officer. And anytime an NFL organization wants to hire a GM or a head coach, you will be on that interview panel. You'll be there.
That would be powerful. That would be
right.
Powerful.
So that's what I'm saying. That's the kind of statement now. Like him going back there, taking a 7-step drop and throwing a 30-yard bomb. Nah.
Because you gotta think at some point I would at least be thinking that now when you get the job, is it purely because this happened, right? Yeah. Not because you really can play, not because you're ready to play, but you really just got a job because the NFL got pressured to hire you back.
That's what I said, Roger. I told one of my friends, Roger Goodell, hire Colin Kaepernick right now. You tell him that we want you on our senior staff, and this is your job.
Yeah, because I mean the team and him, I hate to say it, but they can't win. Because if he,
right, it's gonna be more of a publicity stunt than it is gonna be a football.
If you don't take the job,
right,
he missing out on another opportunity. Right. So it's like, he really can't win in this situation at this point.
Well, and even if he takes the job and if he does well, it's like told you so. If he doesn't do well, it's like only because y'all didn't let him play. That's why I say you can't measure your success on Colin Kaepernick, the quarterback. Like to your point, hiring him as a front office guy would be powerful, and it would take a step toward putting the bite in your bark, so to speak.
That's right.
So that's a great idea.
Why are you laughing, PB?
I think about that.
Just for a second, man, I was wondering where that noise is coming from. That's birds that just sit outside with you, ain't it?
Yeah.
Hey,
that's what it is.
Outside, man, the birds talking to the birds.
Hey, man,
I told you. I was like, hold up, what?
That's right. So, that's what I think, man. If Roger listens to the ATL Outlet, hire Colin Kaepernick, make him the chief diversity officer, and tell him his job is anytime any one of these 32 teams have to hire a GM or a head coach, he has to be on that interview panel. That's all he got to do.
Yeah, I totally agree. How do you think this movement affects? We mentioned a little bit about the Oklahoma State running back and Coach Gundy, but how do you think this is affecting college football? PB just left the scene. I
know, right? He forgot that we all. Hey, that's what happens with the ATL Outlet. Something hit you real good, you got to go take care of it, man, right now. Hey, I'm glad he put us on mute, though, AT. That way, if anything go down, we won't know what happened.
We have no idea what PB is.
He just walked off the set.
So we're just gonna ad-lib this thing.
Hey, man, I was listening.
Right. So
I figured y'all would just kind of keep it going and not make a big deal out of it. But
it's hard. It's hard.
I know. Everything we do on ATL Outlet is a big deal. When you get up, PB.
Y'all mind if I throw something out there and just kind of throw us off a little bit? But I thought it was incredibly interesting and thought I'd toss it out there tonight. So y'all know Terry Crews, right?
Yeah.
Damon.
Yeah.
Damon. I think of that every time I think of Terry Crews. But anyway, shout out to that Friday at the Next Q Vision. Anyway, so apparently Terry Crews went and tweeted something, I don't know, I guess recently. And it was a quote that spoke to something that he called black supremacy. And he's been getting a lot of pushback, or blowback, if you will, based off of the tweet. And then he got on a show, guess it was today maybe, an interview with something called The Talk, and wanted to kind of defend himself on this tweet. So I'm going to read you just a couple of quotes and it'll guide the conversation. But apparently what he put out in a tweet was, quote, "Defeating white supremacy without white people creates black supremacy. Equality is the truth. Like it or not, we are all in this together, end quote. So he got a lot of pushback on this, blasting him about using the term black supremacy. But again, he acknowledged that he may have worded it in a controversial way, but he defended what he was saying. So here's kind of what he said in defense. It said, what I was saying was defeating white supremacy without white people could create black supremacy because, quote, in Black America, we have gatekeepers. He says, quote, we have people who have decided who is to be black and who is not. Quote, and I simply, because I have a mixed race wife, have been discounted from the conversation a lot of the time by very, very militant movements and the Black Power movement. I've been called all kinds of things like an Uncle Tom simply because I'm successful, simply because I worked my way out of Flint, Michigan. He goes on and they talked about an exchange between Charlemagne the God and Joe Biden, where Joe Biden says, basically, you ain't black if you're choosing Donald Trump. And Cruz goes on to say, the problem is that black people do have different views. When you're white, you can be Republican, Libertarian, Democrat, you can be anything. But if you're black, you have to be one thing. He says, quote, blackness is always judged. It's always put up against this thing. And I'm going, wait a minute. That right there is a supremacist move. You have now put yourself above other black people. And then he goes on to say, maybe there was a better term than supremacy. Maybe it's separatist or elitist or something like that. But the thing is, I've experienced supremacy even growing up, where I've had black people tell me that the white man is the devil. I've experienced whole organizations that because of the suffering of black people, they have now decided that we are not equal and they're better. And I think that's a mistake. So I'm gonna end it right there because I just think that it was an interesting comment made around there being black gatekeepers and how we treat each other. And you know what? Truth be told, there have been times where I think I've probably felt like, man, any black person that votes for a Republican ain't really black, right? And so I'm gonna throw that out there for any type of responses, thoughts. Say it with your chest. What's on your spirit when you hear that about the black community and how we treat each other? And yeah, can you only be one thing as a black person in America?
See, I'm gonna let you have this one first.
Yeah, let me have this one first. So that's one of the things that I am keenly aware of is that even in our black communities, I call it a social, there's still social economic statuses, right? And, I say that oftentimes we in our black communities, we don't always, we don't know how to lift each other up. So then if I'm struggling in my community to do that, then somebody outside of the community is going to be like, well, see, look, I've had several people in the course of this whole racial injustice conversation send me articles or videos of African Americans saying, well, I never experienced racism. I didn't do this, and I don't understand what's going on. And I'm keenly aware that that happens. My stake is very clear, and I think I've said it on several episodes before. In America, we've been taught to attain and get, and that's not bad by any means. But I say it like this, and I was sharing with a mentor of mine this morning how, when we get exposed, that's one thing. But when we let that dominate who we are and we forget I call it, we're people of African diaspora who are very communal, it causes a whole bunch of differences. I do know Terry's statement. I've read it. I've seen it. And, we all have different experiences. And I'm sure because he has a white wife, he's been called a whole bunch of names, right, by the Black community. And I do think that we do judge because we come from this spirit of oppression, and we're trying to get back. We want to be equal, but then we take on the oppressor's mentality, and it becomes very, very, very convoluted. And so I often say, hey, look, we can't necessarily, we don't know anybody's story. We have opinions, but we don't know their story. Let's get to know them. Because that's what we're asking our white counterparts to do with us. Know me, know my story before you tell me that I can't do it. Don't just look at my color of my skin and make a decision. And so, and I say that oftentimes in the Black communities. Hey, before you make that judgment of another Black individual, do you know their name? Do you know how they got there? I was talking to a leader of an organization about this about 2 weeks ago. I'll say it's always funny to me when people name drop. Well, I know so-and-so, and I know they run this and they run that. I say, man, look, I don't care what they run. Who are they? Right? How did they get to Atlanta? Why are they a part of that movement? What did they do? What did their wife do? Where did their kids go to school? Where they from? Titles don't do anything for me. And I think because we have been in a Western culture for so long, we try to get the title so that we feel like we have some power. And I go, no, I want to know who this person is, right? And I think that happens a lot in our African American communities. AT?
Yeah, I knew I had touched on one for AT. I knew I had one.
There's a whole bunch of in that. That's why he made me go first.
I took some time. I need to think about this because it's touchy in the Black community right now because, and I hate to say this, and I'll say it, but it is what it is. We have a tendency to exhibit a mean, I ain't gonna say mean girl or mean boy, but mean person attitude. Basically, if you're not with us, you're against us. And there's no other way to even think about it. And we have to be careful about that because, as we've been stating earlier, there are different lanes to get to the same end, right? You got to have people across all fronts that are there to make sure that as a people, we are advancing forward, right? And I think what happens is we get caught up in the idea of this mob mentality where it's us against the world and you shouldn't even affiliate with anybody else that's not one of us. And for those people who really feel that way, I respect that, right? You say for 400 years, we were a second class, if we were even a class of citizens, and we should not affiliate. Okay, I understand where that comes from, where the frustration comes from. But on the other hand, you have opportunities to now break into what has been traditionally white roles, white professions. You are now making a path for other Black people to create avenues and be successful. And a lot of times, and it's unfortunate, but those people feel pressured for doing that because it's almost like a crab in a bucket syndrome, right? You're not supposed to be over there working with those people because you're supposed to be one of us. Well, I'm blazing a trail over here trying to get 5 or 6,000 million or whatever you to follow this route. And I always bring up the Jackie Robinsons of the world and all those athletes that broke into different leagues. If you read about Jackie Robinson, he got a lot of grief, both from white players and from Negro League players who felt like they should have been the one to be there, or that he should have been playing in the Negro Leagues and not associating with the white players, right? So I'm sure that casts him in a situation where he almost feels as if he's a traitor, like he's betraying his own race. But at the same time, he's making that pathway, opening that pathway for, in that time, Blacks to be able to play in the major league. So I see what Terry Crews is saying. He's on a different level than what I see for black men every day, right? I don't know a ton of celebrities that are at that level of fame, TV shows, and all that. And so he's working his Black Lives Matter from that way. I'm working mine from here. Somebody else who's different, who's more different than both of us, are working it on their end. And we shouldn't be coming together trying to figure out, well, he's black, he's not black. That's nothing but a distraction. It's nothing but a distraction. And if we are arguing, and I've used this example hundreds of times over the last couple of weeks, if we're all on a team and we're trying to come back and win a game, and we're on the sidelines arguing about who get more catches or who taking more shots, then we're not focused on the game. No, we focus on what's going on, inside our own hearts and our own minds. So I say all that to say, unfortunately, Terry Crews ran up against the wave, and his word, he could have had a different word choice. I think we all agree with that. But I think he deserves to be heard, and I think that there's some validity in how he feels. And I appreciate him for coming on and facing that and trying to explain. 'Cause I think he does make a point. He's asking our race to improve. And right now, for some reason, when you do that, it's almost viewed as if it is said as a contradiction to the fight against police brutality or the fight against social injustice. No. We can have both conversations, and both conversations will move us forward. That's my opinion. I can go on and on about that, but that's how I feel about that Terry Crews.
So, what I think about is, how what's happening right now, the Black Lives Matter movement. Will there be is there an equal opportunity at this point for a similar movement within the black community, right? Because you think about, historically, right, this colorism, right? Someone who's light skinned is like, you're not black enough, right? Or the, brother or sister who's, has a very dark complexion, like, you too black, and get made fun of for being too black. And like, we go through that within our own community so much. And yet, when a white person does it to us, it's, it's offensive and you can't understand and they're racist and all that. But when we do it to each other, we, in many cases, sit aside and watch it happen and don't stand up for what's right. Similar to what we say that white people don't do when they witness, right, racist things happening or injustice or whatever the case may be, right? And it's so interesting that this all happened because I recently watched, Ben Carson was on being interviewed about what happened to Rayshard here in Atlanta and how his comments initially were, one, I think he was basically, look, I'm not the expert, but what I do feel that it wasn't as clear in this case as it was in Minneapolis. That was his comments. People jumped all over him, right? One, he's an Uncle Tom. He works for the Trump administration, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? His son's a Republican and all of that. And I even think back, AT, we grew up off Shancy Lane all day, right? But going to Woodward was almost in the black community at that time and probably still today, right? Going to a private school, you almost looked down upon because you a sellout because as if you had anything to do with the choice that was made. Yet you got parents who sacrificed and had a vision and, wanted something, opportunity for you, and how, stories all day of how I was judged. And yet for me, it was also playing ball at Burdett and Old Nat. And it was almost like that gave you some street cred, if you will, right, to confirm your level of blackness. Right. And I think it all just goes back to what C was saying around making a lot of assumptions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that
you think Paul just because he goes to Woodward, or just because he works here or went to this college or whatever. Yeah. Right. And we do that within our own community without saying, man, if I actually got to know this cat, I would learn so much more. And then that leads to your point, AT, is like, well, you know what, we should be patting these folks on the back, you know what I mean? Because the doors that may be opening because they are pioneering the way is huge. And wow, how much more successful could they be with support versus the criticism or whatever the case may be that's associated with it. So I agree with you, AT, in that I think that Terry Crews was making a point, but I think it's a conversation that's been well established within the Black community for maybe too long.
Yeah, but my answer to your question is yes. I think that kind of movement can happen, without a doubt. I think it can happen, and I think that we have to understand that this movement, this fight that we're in, if we're honest about it, the level of success that we want, you and us three probably won't see it in our lifetime. So we're battling this for our children and our children's children, right? And so it's an opportunity for us, one, to recognize the injustices that are happening at the hands of police and at the hands of white people who've been in control for so long. But we can take advantage of our opportunity to explain to our children that, let's not look at each other with judgmental eyes. We already are fighting against, all these other issues, and kind of kill two birds with one stone. Pardon the speech, but I feel like it both can be done. And yes, the same movement can happen within our community. And it's just like we talked about with the basketball situation. It's just a matter of people getting together and deciding this is what we're going to do. And as you always say to me, PB, right, it comes down to people making what? Sacrifices.
Yeah.
You got to make those sacrifices.
Yeah, but I think it's important, and it really kind of hit me because I think it's necessary, right?
What's necessary?
That there is a movement just internally within the Black family.
Right.
As we're asking others, if we keep saying that Black Lives Matter and we pumping our fists to non-Blacks to say that we matter, we got to do it equally as much
to the same
within our own family.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because look, the killings in Chicago, the Black on Black crime, again, us pulling each other down. Like, I don't have Instagram. Y'all know I'm not that much into social media, but, seeing y'all's post I saw y'all post this thing where it was like, post a picture to build up another Black man, and then Black women started doing it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's powerful in and of itself.
Right.
And if we do more of that, that can only help this other bigger cause, to your point, AT, right? It's like, look, we got to make sure that we all on the same page on our own sideline so that we can go and fight the people that's on the other one. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I think it's something that hopefully doesn't get missed in this, right? Because at the end of the day, let's just say in an idealistic world that we are able to accomplish all the things we want with, let's just say, white America, will we still be fighting the same battles within Black America that exists?
Right. I agree.
see, just rubber stamped it. Boom.
Yep.
Certified seed.
That's right. Let's take it to the Senate and get it voted on. Let's go.
The takeaway for me, man, like, we gotta keep building up each other, man.
Yep.
Like, you're not too light skinned. You're not, a red bone don't make you, different. The Terry Crews, look, you married a white chick. Look, okay, but at the end of the day, you still a Black man. Like, when she not in the car with you, or even when she is, and you get pulled over, right?
You're still a Black man.
Still a Black man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether you got a degree from here or don't have a degree from here, you're still what? A Black man.
And I would say that, and I do have this little bit, so that's why, I've had several of my white colleagues call me and say, well, what are you doing in your Black community, right? If you're challenging me, what are you doing? And I take that challenge very seriously. And I say, well, I'm having these conversations with other Black leaders also, right? That we've got to make sure that we are, and I use the term, going back to our community and showing this is the way, right? You can do this. I remember very clearly, I was in a school here in Atlanta one time, and a young man walked up to me and he said, "You always here." He says, "Why?" I said, "Because you don't have to live what you say." Is that clear? Is that simple? And he looked at me like, what? Like, he said, nobody's ever told me that. He had never been told that he didn't have to live, because that's all he knew is what he saw. I said, you don't have to live what you see, right? That phrase right there has stuck with me forever. And I'm constantly helping people say, you don't have to live what you see. I know, but there are other options that are available. I've never seen them. Okay, come hang out with me. I got some other friends that I can introduce you to. ATBB, they can show you a different way too. You don't have to, and I think that story gets missed, that we don't say that enough in our Black communities, that we don't say, you don't have to live what you see now, and that's I will add that piece.
Hey, we're going to break on that right now. You don't have to live what you see. We'll be back. Stay Outlet.
From sports to current events to the culture, we talk, agree, disagree, and agree again. Maybe. Confused? Find your outlet, the podcast.
And we're back. I said they're kind of loud. We're back, though. ATL Outlet, a little ATL therapy for your soul.
Man, we love it when you get excited about coming back. It's cool.
Yeah, we're back. Come to the part of the show that we all love, yes sir, no sir. Yes sir, no sir.
Yes, sir.
Added addition today. Added addition. All right. We've been talking about letting it breathe. All right. So we're gonna go 4 topics each. We're gonna go 4 quick topics. 4 topics on
yes
sir,
PB.
no,
this
sir.
is new to us. Yes, PB.
Yes sir, no sir. And I'm gonna give you 3. I'm gonna give you 3 words on we're gonna say either turn up or let it breathe. Turn up or let it breathe. Okay. So yes sir, no sir.
In addition to yes or no sir,
we don't have no commentary on the turn up or let it breathe. Just turn up or let it breathe. But for yes or no sir, number 1, crushed ice over cubed ice. Yes sir, no sir. PB.
Crushed ice over cubed ice. I'm gonna go no sir. I mean, I love crushed ice, but sometimes, man, you be so thirsty. You got that juicy jaw. You be trying to get to the juice. That crushed ice be just messing up that flow, man. I need that solid stream just coming through, man. No sir.
See.
Yes, sir. It's something about that crushed ice when you get it and you put it right in the molar and it sit right there for a second. It just all that right there just unlocks. So we're gonna go yes, sir.
AT.
Ooh, it's tough for me, man. I'm gonna go I'm gonna crushed. Yes, sir. Crushed ice, especially if it's from Zaxby's. I'll take crushed ice over cubed ice all day long.
I don't know if I really consider Zaxby's crushed ice.
It's not.
That's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about Zaxby's.
Yeah, it's definitely not cute.
Okay.
Yes or no, sir? Driving in the car. Are you one hand on the wheel or 10 and 2? One hand over 10 and 2. Yes, sir? No, sir?
Yes, sir. All day. I ain't drove with 2 hands since I was 16.
See,
Miss Billingsley, you just heard it right here on the podcast. Man, that's tough for me, man. I got a finna be driver, so I think that I'm gonna go with no, sir. I'm gonna go 10 and 2 because just in case my 15-year-old is watching and ever listens to this, you always have your hands.
Car, I'm definitely gonna make sure that you driving 10 and 2 the whole time, Steve. Like, bro, remember what you said now. Remember what you said. 10 and 2. AT.
I'm going yes, sir. At 10 and 2. 10 and 2 kind of shaky unless I'm driving the church van. I go 10 and 2 on the church van. But yes, sir. One hand drive, typically left hand.
Diamond in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say he
I thought you were gonna give me a 2 chains there. I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right. Chicken salad over tuna salad. Yes, sir. No, sir.
Ooh, that's solid.
D, chicken salad over tuna salad. Yes, sir. No, sir.
Man, I'm from the what? The A. No, sir. We going tuna with the pickles, with the mustard, with the doggone mayonnaise, and I'm gonna sprinkle a little sugar in mine. No, sir. Wow. Tuna all day. Let's go.
PB.
Yes, sir, man. That chicken salad, though, bro. Hey, I mean, I like tuna, but that chicken salad, bro, all day, every day. Let's go.
Yeah,
AT.
I'm rocking with chicken salad. That's definitely yes, sir. Chicken salad all day long. I can eat it 3 times a day, 7 days a week. Doesn't matter. I can get it Southwest style. You can put grapes in it, pineapples in it. I don't care. Provolone cheese on it. Toasted bread, panini bread. I don't care. Chicken salad.
On that chicken salad sandwich from Chick-fil-A either, bro.
You said what?
I said don't sleep on that chicken salad sandwich from Chick-fil-A either.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to tell y'all what I'm thinking.
Last one for yes or no, sir. Game-winning drive. Quarterback drops back to pass, throws a bomb deep. Will you rather Moss for a touchdown or get a pick to end the game? Moss for a touchdown or pick to end it. I'm talking to two defensive backs. So this is
I was about to say, I know.
PB, what'd you say?
I guess no, sir, because I'm trying to get a pick to end the game, Shady. All day.
See.
Man, no, sir. I'm going to pick it, go up the sideline and Dion that thing at the 3 and then flip it and walk in the locker room.
Man, come on, man. That's a yes, sir, man. You got to moss them folk, snatch both chin straps off, going into the crowd, flex a little bit. No?
Man, there's a guy that scores 40 points a game.
Because the seed point, we're going to pick six that thing.
Hey, man. And I ain't coming back because I'm going into the locker room.
I'm coming back. I'm laying I'm laying that thing.
All right, we're going to try this, man. I'm just going to give you one word. All right? One word. You either turn up.
New segment on the ATL Outlet tonight.
First time up. We're going to try this. You either turn up or let it breathe when you hear this word.
PB making some dreadlocks over there. What you doing?
Got it?
Hey, man, he got me nervous over here, bro.
First statement. Bungee jumping.
Turn up.
Turn up or let it breathe?
Turn up.
Let it breathe. Let it breathe. Crawfish.
Let it breathe.
Let it breathe. Let it breathe.
Turn up. Crawfish ain't bad, man. Crawfish
let it breathe, dog. Let it breathe.
Let it breathe, dog.
At the end, when they have to pop the end of that thing, boy, stop.
Skiing.
Let it breathe.
Turn up.
Let it breathe.
Let it breathe.
Let it breathe.
Turn up.
Last one. Paul get a kick out of this one. Motorcycles.
Hey, turn up.
Let it breathe.
Yeah, I might let that one breathe, Sean.
Let it breathe. Let it breathe. Hey, man, we had a good time tonight, man. Another episode of ATL Outlet. A little ATL therapy for your soul.
Hey, I'm down with that, AT. Turn up and let it breathe. Audience, let us know, man. What y'all think about that? Motorcycles.
Turn up. We'll put it on IG.
Yeah, we'll put it out there, man.
Don't forget to check us out at PlugUsIn20, plugusin.org on the website. PBC, any last words?
I got one.
What's up?
Salmon tonight.
Turn up.
Turn up. Say less.
All right, man. We out of here.
All right. We out.
From sports to current events to the culture, we talk, agree, disagree, and agree again. Maybe. Confused? Find your outlet, the podcast.